Hello again, Grace chatting here. Just wanting to lead you through the 12 steps. We're on just adjust this slide, right, isn't it? We're on step 3 of the 12 steps, and so the third step is this one. It is made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understand Him. And I'm saying him or her, because how we understand God may not be him, it may be a her. And I think what happens to most people when they get to this step, they get caught up in a conflict. Many people are in conflict about whether they believe that there is a God or there isn't a God, or what kind of a God. And often the whole concept of God is tied in with their views of religion. And in the Western world, it's mostly a Christian God. And certainly, you know, when I was growing up in Belfast in Ireland, you know, it was a Catholic God or a Protestant God. Like there were different kinds of God. But, you know, in my personal experience, religion kind of creates a barrier between people and God. And that people's experience of God is all about what they believe, about what people told them about God, and they don't actually have a direct experience of God. They're caught in their heads and their thoughts and their beliefs about some notion of God. So it kind of blocks you taking this step if you get all into that head stuff. The point is here, the step is made a decision to turn our will. It's not asking you to believe in a God or any particular God. It's saying you made a decision to turn your will over to the care of God as we understand him or her. Now, I remember a time in my life when I was faced with making that decision, and I had been raised in a religion. And like I say, a lot of conflict about religious ideas, and it was all pretty negative. However, I was able to remember that if we think about steps 1 and 2, we're looking at all our best efforts have not been able to get us to have a peaceful, progressive life if we're caught up with living with someone with an alcohol problem, or indeed if we've got an alcohol problem ourselves. But if we're living with someone with an alcohol problem, it's like our lives revolve around their ups and downs, and you know, it does become unmanageable virtually after years of it, you know. So the thing is to make a decision. You don't have to begin believing or taking on board any religious beliefs whatsoever. I find it an easy way around it for me was to be willing. So it's a willingness, it's about will. And I was willing to turn my will over to anything that was going to help me to make my life different, because I just seemed to be going downhill fast. And so for me, it was a power greater than myself. Yeah, just, and you know, I eventually came to see it as the divine, you know, whatever it is that keeps all of our hearts beating, all of our lungs pumping while we're asleep. You know, we don't do that ourselves. There is something greater than ourselves, even if it's just the vitality of life, the spark of life, whatever it is that keeps the planets going, whatever it is that, you know, keeps, you know, the sun going down and coming up, and this life just going on. Whatever that is, I decided I am happy to turn my will over to that. Now, the point is, you know, if there is a God, then why not open up and say, come on, help me here? In my moment of desperation, I remember saying, what do you want me to do? Actually, and I said it out loud, it was about 3 o'clock in the morning, and I just was feeling in despair. And I just said, what is it you want me to do? I felt quite angry with this God, whatever, whoever it was, because it didn't seem to be doing a whole lot of good as far as I could see. And I said, what do you want me to do? Because I was actually at the end of my tether. I was at the end of myself, and I was willing to do whatever, because I'd tried everything I could think of. Anyway, the end of it, in that moment, actually, everything, it was like time stood still, and I actually held my breath. It was like if I just turned around and looked, something or someone divine was going to be stood there. I couldn't even look, and I held my breath because I just felt such peace, absolute peace. It was wonderful, and I hadn't felt peace for a long time. So that peace let me know there was something greater than myself, because it came out of the blue. And there's more to tell after that, but that I'm just sharing my own experience with you. So look, there are things that we can do living in this crazy kind of situation. But no, life is not peaceful in the midst of it. And we do get to stage of admitting, I am powerless. I can't do any more. There's nothing more for me to do. I let go of trying to take control over it. And so, you can actually go to Al-Anon, and Al-Anon's good. You can develop some detachment from your partner's behavior. You can learn how to not get caught up in the drama of it all. But it's taking another step forward, and one I would recommend that you do take. The step forward is making a decision to turn your will over to a God of your understanding. And like I say, it's either there or it's not there, and you'll find out. It's an inside job, basically. And I would say you've got nothing to lose and everything to gain. I certainly have never, ever regretted taking that step. It brought peace into a crazy situation. And actually, it's something you just need to do to discover the benefit of it. So that's all for now. And check in for step 4 soon. Bye for now.